Welcome to the Open Mic, episode 2. Today, we're going to be talking about UFC, um, mainly UFC. Not too much going on in the world of boxing, but we do have some big news, actually, out of Golden Boy Promotions. Big fight is on, guys. Chuck Tito 3, which I don't believe should be happening. But, I mean, at the end of the day, this is MMA and this is not my world. So, I mean, who doesn't want to see the fight again? I believe that the results will be repetitive as the first two, but, I mean, we'll see. Tito Ortiz is a little bit older, so is Chuck. It's been a very long layoff for Chuck. Hopefully that chin healed up a little bit because, that thing was glass last time. Not saying anything bad about Chuck Liddell. Shout out to Chuck. But we all know what everybody has been saying when it comes from, it's not just from my mouth. Scott Coker, Dana White, just like the big people in this business. It's cool though. I mean, who's not gonna, watch that fight? I mean, if people really paid to watch YouTube sensation KSI and Logan Paul fight, and they did that many pay-per-views, I'm pretty sure that Tito and Chuck 3 will sell pretty well. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to see those two legends go at it, right? On another note, we have Kamaru Usman being denied a title fight by Tyron Woodley, even if Till misses weight. My thought on this: Tyron's the champion. He has a point, but it also shows like the reason that he's in the state that he is in, as far as like being a likable champion in the UFC's eyes, in the fans' eyes, just everybody's eyes altogether, for the lack of not taking fights on short notice. He even said it himself. He said, hey, I'm not going to step into a fight with a guy that I had no training for. 24-hour training, it doesn't make sense in his eyes. This is why I believe that he's not as loved as people should love him, even though he's a phenomenal champion, phenomenal fighter, does everything right when it comes to performance and just being an overall good human being. I believe that's just his downfall. He's just not a team player when it comes to last minute replacements or anything like that. But I don't blame the guy. It's a hard professional sport, and a switch up from Usman, from Till to Usman is a humongous difference. I mean, you could argue, that's the reason that Conor lost that first fight to Nate. It's because he was preparing for a 5'7" Rafael dos Anjos. Instead, he got a 6'1" or 6'2" lanky boxer / unbelievable Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Yeah, so. And for the simple fact that it was at 170, which is not Conor McGregor's natural weight class. Even though he looks amazing in it. But, I mean, let's face it, this is not one UFC where, that everybody's forced to go up one weight class because of hydration tests or just weight cutting issues, because weight cutting is, banned. I mean, shout out to ONE FC for doing it right. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we still see who's on top, UFC. And the whole weight cutting thing, I mean, that's a huge debate. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm an expert on it, or even try to put a 2 cents in, because I mean, I'm just a podcaster. You know, I mean, I if you really want to hear my thought on it, I'll do a different segment on weight cutting and my thoughts. I just need to, you know, get a little. I could write down a little notes. You know, we could make it about a whole segment because that's a legitimate like whole podcast discussion on weight cutting. Uh, so another note, we have the super fight coming up, Cyborg and Nunez. Um, wow is all I could say. It's an amazing fight. I cannot wait for this fight. This fight is going to prove to the world who is the number one women's fighter in all of MMA. Um, I mean, you really can't get better than this. You have two women that have fought the best of the best, beat the best of the best, and now they're gonna face each other. And that's the great thing about this sport is you never know what could happen. I mean, does Cyborg run through her like she's ran through everybody else? Does Nunez hit her on the chin where she's never been hit before like that? Because Nunez hits hard. We just don't know. You can't really compare it to anything because nobody hits like Nunez and nobody fights like Cyborg. Um, yeah, I mean, I legitimately cannot wait for this fight. Um, yeah, well, we'll see what's going on. I would actually like to hear your guys' feedback on who you think is going to be winning, and just your thoughts on the overall super fight for the women's 145-pound belt. Another note, we have the main event for Madison Square Garden, not booked yet, as well as all the top draws for the UFC have been booked or just fought. So I mean, like, we really don't have any clear thought or just, it boggles my mind, like, who are they really gonna put as the main event for the Garden? I mean, GSP, wasn't that last year? You know, like, you can't have like the same guy as a main. I mean, I guess you can if it's Conor McGregor or GSP or something like that, but I mean, I don't see anybody fighting GSP. I don't see him fighting anybody but, you know, him hinting that he wants to fight the winner of Habib and Conor. I agree with Dana White, bro. Stay in one weight class. We understand that you are a legend of the sport, but that doesn't mean you could come in and out of the sport and say, hey, I want to try this weight class. Hey, I want to try that weight class. I mean, you are the GOAT, GSP, but at the end of the day, this is a business and you cannot hold up these weight divisions. No matter if you decide that you're going to defend or vacate. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a young man's sport. If you're not going to stick around for a while, just, I mean, chase the welterweight belt like you were gonna, or we don't know. I mean, it would make sense for him to fight the winner of Till and Woodley, but then you'll probably hear Usman talk about, hey, that's not fair, you know. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's the UFC's decision, obviously, but we also have John Jones hinting at a comeback. I just don't see it as far as him being a main event in New York City after the whole USADA thing, because I mean, even though he's been appealing this, I believe that you have to go through a 6-month drug testing window, like Lesnar is doing. No matter if you if you fought last year or whatever. I mean, you've been going through this whole appeal process. So we'll see. I would I mean, on to me, I would like to see Max versus Ortega to be the main event. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that sells out the Garden. So I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert or anything. That's just my idea. But yeah. Well, we will see who's gonna headline the Garden. Uh, Conor Habib is, in my thought, gonna be the biggest pay per view of this year. Sold out in 3 minutes. I mean, I'm not speaking just shit. I mean, numbers don't lie. Regardless or not, if Conor has been out. I mean, you could have Conor McGregor versus a cockroach. That shit will sell the fuck out, like straight up. I don't think Conor needs Habib to sell out anything. He could be facing his shadow. Guess believe it will sell out and do over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Because that's just who he is. But yeah, I'm waiting on that. I have Conor winning that fight by devastating knockout. Not saying Habib has no chance in hell, because I mean, we all know he's undefeated. He's a fucking phenomenal grappler. But at the end of the day, I don't think he has been hit by anybody of a caliber of a Conor McGregor as far as the precision, timing, and skill that he brings to the actual ring. Octagon. I mean, even Habib's head coach said it. There's no way that we could get Habib ready to fight stand up with Conor McGregor. I mean, I believe at the end of the day, that's just weakness out of Habib's corner, and just not 100% like belief in Habib that Habib will walk away with the victory. I mean, at the end of the day, Conor has been faced with some phenomenal wrestlers. You can't say that he hasn't. Most of his fights in the UFC has been a striker versus grappler match. And this is why people love Conor. I mean, he shuts people up. Chad Mendes, phenomenal wrestler. Guess what? Knocked him the fuck out. And he had really, really bad knees for that fight, which nobody knew about. Eddie Alvarez, another phenomenal wrestler, couldn't even take Conor down. Like, he made him look like an infant. Not saying Eddie Alvarez is a bad fighter, phenomenal fighter. I believe these Europeans have the stand-up game on lock. Americans have wrestling. We have, certain boxing and all that. But, I mean, when it comes to, like, legitimate, like, stand-up skills, you gotta give it to the Europeans. Their skill is on another level. Yeah, and I mean, you could see it. You could see it. Just watch a little bit of Glory. Watch some fights outside of the UFC and promotions in other countries. You'll be able to see the standouts, and none of them are from America. Well, not shitting on America. I am American, from Queens, New York, but just speaking truth. Don't hate me for it. But it shows. It just shows. I mean, when I think the fight is gonna go not identical to Aldo, I'm thinking that Conor's hoping that. I don't think that, but I mean, there's no way that Conor does not catch Habib in 5 rounds, regardless of Habib's pressure. Like, I guarantee he connects. It's not like Habib is a phenomenal stand-up artist with phenomenal head movement, and I mean, all fights start on the feet. So you have to be prepared. Wrestling a bear is not the same thing as taking a hit on the chin by Conor McGregor. I could almost guarantee that. But yeah, we'll see. I definitely have Conor, even though it's funny. I should be going for Habib because I am Russian, but I mean I'm a realist, guys. I mean even when I'm a humongous Conor McGregor fan. Even when he was gonna fight Mayweather, and everybody was hyped behind him, and fuck the Mayweathers. I even had a Conor McGregor hat, but when people ask me, they're like, "Who do you think wins this fight?" I told them, a huge Conor McGregor fan, but I am not stupid, simple, or slow. I am a realist. This is not his fight, especially a 12-round fight against the arguably the most, the best, the GOAT of boxing, like Mayweather. And he even said it. He's like, the man changed up 3 times, changed 3 game plans. That's a champion. So yeah, I mean, Conor's great. He wasn't in his right element. If the tables were turned as far as Mayweather coming to the octagon, same thing, just reversed. Conor would have destroyed him. I would have gave Mayweather no chance in hell, just like most of the boxing community gave Conor no chance in hell. I mean, I applaud Conor McGregor for going up though, and putting it all on the line, straight up. Anyway, guys, it's been real. First podcast by myself. Let me know how I did, guys. Yeah, it's been real, and thank you for listening to the open mic. I am your host, Mike. Enjoy, guys. Cheers.